Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back into the building, my people. It's your boy Jason Gooner. We're back in the building with another episode. And you know, it's the EPL Preview Show. We do this every Friday night. Lord willing, we forward. We bring the team news. We bring the analysis. We look at the form. And we try to predict all the fixtures for the weekend. Of course, you know where our allegiances lie. It lies in the name of the person speaking to you. Jason Gooner. So you know it's up and gunning every single week. All right, people who want to first and foremost, please do the YouTube things. Like, share, and subscribe to the content. You don't know that is the best way to support the channel. Obviously, we have other ways you can do so, but that would require reaching into your pocket. So we're not pressure those things. Like, share, and subscribe. That's what we really, really need you guys to do. Thanks so much for the continuous growth of the channel. Yes, we're moving slowly but surely. We're pushing our way through, gaining those subscribers, and we're very thankful for each and every one of you that have decided to subscribe to this platform. You know what we're about here, people. We love the football. We love the football. We love the football. So we give you the analysis. We give you the breakdowns. We give you the live match watch-alongs as well. So that's what you can expect here. Football all the time, people. Of course, we know about all type of things. So we might delve into some other sports from time to time. But for the most part, the analysis, the breakdowns, football. So we're going to continue that tonight. And we're going to bring what we bring to you every week. Of course, you know, it's an interactive platform, so I like to get involved with the comment section whenever possible. Of course, people that are in the building who have checked in, you know, again, like the video. That's the main thing. Get the video out there. You know, we are Reggae Boys fans as well. We had the squad drop today, so people might want to see, you know, my thoughts on the squad, which we're gonna get to. People, don't rush the thing. Won't get that content today though. That will be forwarding tomorrow. So for tonight, we're gonna give you the predictions as we always do on a Friday night for these EPL games. Of course, full slate of matches. This is the final window before the international break. So players will be looking to go out on a high note. Clubs want to get these 3 points, know that they have them in the bag going into the international break. So what we want to do this week, people, we're gonna first and foremost, we're gonna look at the latest team news before we get into any of the games. Just see what some of the managers had to say in their press conferences, pick out some of the most important things, and we will start the show that way. Of course, as I said before, people, if it's your first time here, thanks so much for finding us. Just sit down, listen, be a part of the show for a little bit, and if you like football, I'm sure you will want to come back for more in the future. All right. My sports world, big up yourself, saying going for Jamaican food, be back. All right, that's the best food, you know. I wouldn't mind some right now, but I'm not hungry still. Yeah, man. So, first things first, people. Let me get this on the screen. Canada too good with the Iceman David, Eustachio, and Alfonso all in Champions League. Yeah, and they actually all played well. I thought Alfonso played well against Villa. I thought Eustachio played really well. Porto versus Manchester United. And yeah, David, of course, scoring the penalty to beat Real Madrid. So a good week for the Canadians in the Champions League, it must be said. All right. So let me get this on the screen. This is all the key lines from the managers. So this is, of course, leading into match week 7. So first, Enzo Maresca. He was asked about Chelsea being title contenders. And he said, I really don't think we can compete with City or Arsenal because we are not ready. The reason is that City has worked with the same manager for 9 years and Arsenal for 5 years. If you want to compete for big things, you need that time. All right. So he's trying to make sure the Chelsea fans, you know, temper the expectations and suggestions. He has 2 teams. We do not have 2 teams. It is 1 team, only 1 team. If they play tonight, on Thursday, it does not mean they cannot play on Sunday or the next Premier League game. In this moment, it is like this. But the important thing is that when you are changing players, you can still see the identity of the team. That is very true, coach. All right. Now, Pep Guardiola, Man City, they asked him about his commitment to City. Okay. Now, this is what I really want to see. Erling Haaland's availability to face Fulham, he said yes. Apart from Kevin, Nathan, Oscar Baba, and Rodri, the rest are fine. So, any of you FPL folks, there's no issues going into this game for Haaland, so he should be good to go. He was asked about facing an informed Fulham as well. He had this to say: the only record I see is the last 6 games. Since the first defeat against United, they didn't lose. They have a lot of weapons. I'm concerned with what they do, not what they did in the past. All right, so I'm not taking them lightly. I think that's a smart move. Fulham is very organized right now. Mikel Arteta from Arsenal had this to say on the injury progress of the captain, Odegaard. He said, Martin is very difficult. I expected him to still be with the protective boot and a lot of things, but he's working so hard and he's pushing. It is difficult to give a timeline. So looks like Odegaard is really fighting hard. Right now, they're projecting after the international break, he should be good the first game. I think it's about the 19th to play after the break. So let's see. I would be very shocked if we see him tomorrow. I think they will hold off that extra couple of weeks to just get him back fully. Then he was asked about White and Timber. Of course, White has been out for a few games now, and Timber was forced off at halftime in the Champions League match versus Paris. So this is what he said. He said there's a decision to make this afternoon whether to involve them or not. They are close. Takahiro Tomoyasu is close too. It's good news. All right, so we're getting the fullback coalition back fit. That is good. And then he was asked about Southampton's start, and he said, from what I have seen, they deserve much more than what they have already. This is the Premier League, and the small details are so important to get results. All right, Arne Slot was asked about Liverpool being top. He said their experience, they should know it's only 6 games. I think that is the truth as well. He was asked about the early kickoff. He said it's a stupid thing because they train at midday every day. And then he was asked about Palace's ability to take the points off the big clubs. He said Palace got results with Chelsea and United, top 2 teams. Last season, they finished strongly but lost players. They will do better during the season, but hopefully not tomorrow. For real. Unai Emery and the Villa side of things now was asked about United's poor start. He said they're a winning team. They have an experienced coach, experienced players. The club is usually a winning club. They are still winners. Last year, they won the FA Cup. They're not getting consistently good results, but I respect them. I will prepare the match more than how I prepared the match against Bayern Munich. Okay. So that is actually him going very far there. He says he's going to prepare this one even more than prepare the Bayern Munich one. Okay. Said overachieving. He said we're not the favorites. We'll have to see where we are in January or February. Can't really think about that now. He says on the injury news now, so this is important, people. Jacob Ramsey and Bailey are for now both doubts. I don't know if they are going to be available. They are both so tired. I'm not sure they will be 100% fit for Sunday. We need every player, so tomorrow we will see how they feel. Today they are a doubt. Okay. So Bailey and Ramsey doubts for the match on Sunday. Eddie Howe says the current injuries impacting the squad, or he's talking about, he said Isak will not make the game. We hope he'll be back with Callum Wilson for the game after the break. Dubravka took a nasty whack to the knee against Wimbledon, but it won't be serious. So they are down their top 2 strikers there, Isak and Wilson. So how does that affect the playing time? Anthony Gordon returning to Goodison Park, so that should be a day for him. Gary O'Neill and Wolves, no injury news really to report there. Postecoglou was asked about Son, and he said Son is unlikely. He's pushing hard, but the turnaround might be too quick for him to be available at this stage. All right, Solanke's return to the England squad. He was asked about Marco Silva. Wow. So apparently, I'm just finding this out, reading this. So last week, Jimenez scored the penalty to win the game against Forest, but I was surprised actually by that because Andreas Pereira usually take the penalties for them. So I guess it came out that he did break the rules and it was already decided before the match, but he took it. And he was asked if it will happen again. He said, no, it won't happen again. And he apologized. So let's see. Boy, that's very brave, man. You take a decision like that and then go miss the penalty. What a thing. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Yeah, almost. Eustachio was in the Europa. Yeah. Yeah, so Massa drop him thoughts in the comments. All right. Thomas Frank now. Let's see. Yeah, man say we spoke to our guys at Matthew's company and analyzed over 1 million games. No team has scored 3 games in a row in the first minute. It's a nice one, but next time we do it, we need to win the game for real. For real, because them now win. All right, so on Norgard, he said Christian is available and he will probably start. Rico Henry trained with the team today, which is a positive. It's good to see him there. But Man United will be too soon for him. Okay. So Rico Henry back on the grass with the team. That's big. He said Wissa is back on the grass as well, running at least. So that's good too. So he's making his progress. You know, people will be looking for when he'll return because he was on fire before he got injured, Wissa. He was asked about Semenyo, Evan Nielsen. Tyler Adams will not be fit for the game. He's going to train fully with the team during the break, but he won't be involved in the game tomorrow. Apart from him, everyone is available. And I think we're in a good place. So Ursula, Brighton's manager, said the positive things are Gruda and Solimar trained very well this week, so there might be an option, as is James Milner. Veltman is back in the squad. The long-term injuries are Matt O'Reilly, Joao Pedro, and Jean-Paul Van Heck. So, yeah, had to drop Pedro this week. Couldn't really keep him around. Don't really know when he's even coming back. So, dropped him from the FPL squadron. Oliver Glasner and his injuries, he said Wharton injury, it's not the best situation. We have to manage it. He had a great game at Everton and a very good training week. We know his situation and we have to look after him. It's a day-to-day with his injury, but our great medical department are treating him very well. He was asked about the winning start as well. He said, I'm not too worried. It's the beginning of the season. So I guess that's a good stance to take. You can't really freak out about that right now. Eric Ten Hag talking about Villa Park. On positives and negatives from Porto, this team has the belief that they don't give up. They have a strong mentality, but in some other parts, they have to step up. If you want to win trophies in some areas, we have to improve. On Menu, he said he didn't make the squad against Porto. It was too big a risk. We have to wait and we have to see if he can play on Sunday, if he's fit enough to start or be on the bench. Sean Dyche was asked about McNeil, who has been on fire lately. So far, he has done very well, and it looks like he's enjoying it. He's affected himself. It's not just us who've affected him. Changing position was something we've talked about a lot. So far, it's been productive. Russell Martin was just basically asked about the pressure right now for him. Lopetegui the same, sticking together. Steve Cooper talking about the season. Says Chaudhry got a training ground injury, but Vestergaard is back training fully now. Kieran McKenna have got a few being assessed before Saturday. There's a chance that there will be 1 or 2 changes to the team, but some of them are going to be pretty late calls. So played it close to the vest there, Ipswich manager. And then Nuno was just asked about Cole Palmer, probably smart right now to try to figure out how to stop him. So that is it, people. That is it for pretty much the latest injury news. People that close to fitness where they were pretty much asked about for the most part. So we'll have to wait and see on some of those, the Arsenal fullbacks, a few others. It's gonna be down to the wire to see who play. No, man, Duke, late, man. Show just a start. We just go through the news before we go through the first game. Big up, Chad. What go on? I don't know if you did see it, Chad, but you take home the trophy last week, Yeah, man, you had the best predictions last week, so big up yourself. And respect for being in the building, Ten Hag last game this week. Yeah, man. Harry Maguire. Somebody tell me, say the stone that the builder refused that scored a goal for them, you know? All right, so let us, before we jump into the games, let's just look at the league table currently, just to get back, you know, what's going on. Bless up yourself at Chile. Respect, brother. I'm going to go on writing in the name, because I know when I go dropping the predictions, you know? Chile, Chaddy there. All right, cool. All right, so this is the league table, people. Liverpool in first, Man City and Arsenal second and third, Chelsea in fourth place, Villa in fifth. Then we have Fulham doing very well so far this season in sixth. Only the one lost to United early in the season, first game to be exact. Then we have Newcastle in seventh, Tottenham in eighth, Brighton in ninth, Forest in 10th, Bournemouth, excuse me, in 11th, Brentford 12th, Man United in 13th. Wow. West Ham 14th, Ipswich Town 15th, Everton 16th, and then we have Leicester 17th, and then right now in the relegation zone, Crystal Palace, Southampton, and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So that is the league table as we enter this match week. Now let's get right into the fixtures for the week, and of course the curtain raiser, what they call the 12 o'clock kickoff in England. It will be Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. So let's just look at the quick view first before we do anything. So, of course, big discrepancy in the league table here between these two teams. We have first taking on 18th. So I guess the one of the things about being in first place and playing first is that you can lay down that marker for that weekend. You put extra pressure on all your chasers. And I guess it, the coin can be flipped to the other side as well, where you say, it's impetus to the chasers to see what really happens in this first game. Then, okay, if we can get positive result in our game, we will, leapfrog this team. So let's see. Crystal Palace, if you look at the recent results, they had a 2-1 loss in December when they hosted them at their ground. And the last time they played at Anfield, it was a 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Now, of course, this 1-0 game right here would have coincided with quite an uptick in form last season with this squad. And if you look at who played in that game last year for Crystal Palace, some of these players would not be there anymore. Anderson have since moved on to Fulham, as you see him in the Fulham jersey there. They still have these other players in midfield, but the big loss in the forward line would be Elise is no longer there, gone to Bayern Munich, of course. So when you look at the form that we've seen from Palace so far this season, they really haven't been able to recreate it. I don't know if it's as simple as Elise not being there. I think the system still could work with him not being one of the main guys in it. But I think where it's really been an issue has been the back line. I thought they were able to find a decent amount of stability with the back line last season. Anderson, of course, being a big part of it. This was during the stretch when Gahey was out, so he wasn't in the lineup. But I think they've been a bit unlucky this season when it comes on to their players. If you look at even the last game when they played Everton, I want to point something out to you about the defense. So the lineup that they used, they went with the same system. So the system hasn't changed from Glasner. No, these are the parts they had. Lerma was playing last season in that game versus Liverpool. Gahey wasn't, neither was Max Lacroix, who came over from, I think he was in the Bundesliga, to Crystal Palace in this summer window. So, Henderson in goal, a couple of the faces there. Then when you move into midfield, Kamada has been added now to the team. And of course, Olise no longer, and you have Eddie Nketiah. Now, when you look at the difference between just straight up looking at Olise and Eddie Nketiah, they have totally different skill sets, I feel like, with how they play. And I'm not really certain if Eddie Nketiah in that role, similar to Olise, is really going to unlock his best. Because that role does require you to create a bit. And I'm just not sure if Eddie Nketiah right now is really equipped to be the creator in chief. They don't really play wing per se. It's more of like it's almost like they play 2 number 10s, and Mateta is ahead of them. But they're gonna have to figure out a way. Maybe you play Eze more as a true number 10, and then you have Nketiah and Mateta more side by side. Maybe that will unlock the better, but does that take away from Mateta's game if you do that? So, a lot of things I think he needs to figure out. I think he's trying his best to keep the system that was working last year, but I don't know if the personnel fit it the same, so it might need to be tweaked. I don't know what you guys think about that, but that's how I feel about what they're going through right now. They just haven't really found that proper blend. Then when you look at Liverpool now, one thing I can say about Slot so far this season, apart from really the striker position, he has pretty much found his, first choice 11. When you look at the midfielders, it's pretty much been discussed the whole time. Soboslai, McAllister, and Gravenberch kind of in that midfield. And then you have Diaz and Salah wide. And then, as I said, up front, it's been changing, but Jota really and truly has been the main man. We have seen Nunes get a game there as well, but, sparing, really, I think that game Jota didn't even play, I want to say. So maybe it was just more of a precaution on the day. So, yeah, I think the fact that they're so settled so early into this manager's tenure, I know a lot of people, especially Liverpool fans, I remember going into the season, they were quite upset about the lack of business that Liverpool would have done. And I think Arne Slot, if you really analyze why he probably did that, he's probably looking at it like, I'm already going to come in and try to implement these new ideas on these players. But if it's one thing that Liverpool has, it's experience in this league, and they have a lot of players that have been around. So, he's probably looking at it like, let me just see what this framework does for me, because I know that this framework has worked before. So, and now he's kind of looking like a genius, because think about it. If he came in as a new manager, he had all these players in the team that have done big things for Liverpool before. He brings in a couple of players, maybe his players, so to speak, and then it creates this dissension and tension. And, you brought this guy in, how come you're not playing him, and things of that nature. So, I think simplifying it, keeping the squad the same for the most part, bringing in a couple new faces. Chiesa really and truly the only new face in this lineup. So, maybe playing it so safe was maybe the smarter thing in terms of just managing the squad moving forward. And of course, once he gets to the January window, maybe he'll tweak here and there spots that he's seen some deficiencies. But I think all in all, it's proven to be the right move currently. Let's see if that continues. But this week, as I said, Liverpool has the chance to go 4 points top after this result, after this game is finished. And I think they're going to take full advantage of that. I think also a lot of times when a team like Liverpool loses at the previous meeting with a team, I think it's really not the best sign for that team coming in the next time, because it really kind of eliminates that letdown possibility, because they would have known the last time these guys were here, they beat us. So they're trying to lay down a mark, as I said, for the rest of the league. It's the first game of the week. I'm debating on the amount of goals, because Palace, for all their struggles this season, they haven't really been like so leaky in defense in terms of the amount of goals they would be conceding. So question is, does Liverpool keep the clean sheet? That is the question. But wait, this game is where? Oh, this game is at Selhurst Park. Wow. Does that change my prediction? Okay, so I definitely think Palace will get a goal then. Or this whole time I'm thinking it's Anfield, Does Liverpool drop points? Nah, I don't think so. I think Liverpool win the same as last week. 2-1 result away from home. So I'm going for the 2-1 Liverpool. So let's check in with the comment section. I see people are checking. Like the video as soon as you enter, people. Big up everybody in the building. All right, so the champ from last week said 3-1 Liverpool. Charlie, I was leaning there, but I went a little conservative. Hot Chili say 2-0. So Hot Chili said they will keep that clean sheet. 2-0. All right. Bless up, cuz we'll be tough to score tomorrow against that big time keeper. Tough prediction here. 1-1. Yo, big up yourself, Nick. Thanks for being here, my brother. Fabi same concur. 3-1 Liverpool as well. So, yo, let me tell you about Nick, people. Nick is a diehard Liverpool fan. But, brother, the man has the highest of ratings for Dean Henderson. Zine, the man literally, he rates Dean Henderson so much that he puts down his team for a draw because of Dean Henderson. I'm telling you, this man is crazy. Respect mass. Yeah, man, we try break down things, man. So we're not just pull out scores out of thin air, you know? Yeah, man, 3-1 Fabi Frana. All right, cool. So I say Duke asks if him late and then him not drop no score. You know what I'm going for Duke. I must, like how you're there, you just gonna send me all of them. Just tell me the one for this game, no must. All right, see Duke forward with the 2-1 there. Where Demo there? A couple weeks well now, Demo not drop no score, you know. Why Demo run from the score them so? All right, so now let's move on, people. This one is of course near and dear to my heart. This is the Arsenal game. This is the first of the 10 o'clock games now tomorrow. Well, 9 o'clock in Jamaica, of course, 10 o'clock here, 3 o'clock in the UK. So what's going on here? Fixtures. Arsenal. Quick view. All right, so Arsenal again. We just saw first battle in 18th, so another big wide discrepancy here. Third position club versus the 19th one. So Arsenal versus Southampton. As you can see in the goal difference column as well, a big difference, you know, 12 goal difference there. So actually more than that. 18 goal difference. Wow. So you know, big discrepancy in the goals and the results so far this season. Of course, Southampton just coming up from the championship. You know, we like to look at what's going into this game in terms of the team sheets. So let's just take a look at their last game, Bournemouth Southampton. This was the Monday game. So most of you who watch the league would have probably saw this match. It was the only match on at the time. I watched it in full. I thought Southampton just didn't really play well enough to be in this game and win it. You know, Bournemouth always looked more of a threat in the game. I thought Southampton started the second half okay, but it was not really sustained, I thought. And in the end, I thought Bournemouth really should have scored more goals. But, you know, a combination of wastefulness, Ramsdale pulling off some good saves as well, kept this score to 3-1. But really looking like it's going to be very difficult for this team to stay up as far as I'm concerned. You know, kudos to their manager. He's trying in terms of a style of play. But I just feel like maybe it's a combination of some of the decisions they still make, because it's one thing to try to play the system where you're not, you know, bypassing your midfield and, you know, these things. But I just feel like the risk that some of the players defensively and the goalkeeper take on the ball, it's just not worth it for me. You know, maybe they're not really getting open enough before getting the pass. You know, the space isn't quite right. You know, of course, when you play out through press, you're going to have to take some risk, but, you know, it has to be calculated. So you have to have the outlets readily available to that player you're playing in pressure. You know, if you play to him and he's in pressure and there's no outlets, then a lot of times you're going to get your pocket picked, pun intended, and then, yeah, that's it. But this was the starting 11. They played the 4-2-3-1. Harwood Bellis, England U21 international. He's in the back line. Sugawara, I've been pretty impressed with him in a team that's not so good. I think he's a competent player at right back. Charlie Taylor got the start last time. I have noticed that Kyle Walker-Peters, who was starting pretty much to start the season, has kind of lost his place the last few games, hasn't even gotten a game. So they're going with Charlie Taylor lately at that left back spot. Jan Badnerek, Premier League veteran at this point, but seems to always be on teams that are, fighting that relegation fight. Flynn Downs, the captain, Matty Fernandez, talented player. I just feel like maybe, his team just doesn't get enough of the ball for him to really shine through. But I do see the technique in the player, Mateus Fernandez. Max Cornet, been bouncing around some teams in the Premier League. Really thought he would maybe provide a bit more in this league, but, has not really found his feet in the Premier League. To be honest, Ryan Fraser, veteran at this point, got the start last game. Leslie Okuchukwu is on loan from Chelsea. Bright future ahead of him, but maybe not quite the finished article just yet. Then Tyler Diblin started up front, which I thought was a waste, honestly. I think he's very impressive on one of those flanks, especially that right flank. It looks like is his home. And he should be back there in that role this weekend, I believe. I think he will see one of Ross Stewart or Cameron Archer from the start in this one to have more of a focal point. I thought Aribo also did pretty well when he came on, so maybe he will get back into the starting lineup as well. So yeah, Southampton, I think they're in for a long day. I do believe that Arsenal will look at this day as a day where, they really haven't treated their home fans to, I would say, what I would class like a really good performance yet. If you look at Arsenal's form since the season started, of course, the game not on here was that first game against Wolves, where, some thought we were extremely lucky to not concede in that game. Then you look at the Brighton draw, not the best performance I thought from Arsenal as well. In fact, of course, we had the controversy of the Rice stuff, but I thought other than that, still, the game was pretty even, too even almost, I would say, for my liking. Then you look at the game against Leicester, it was smooth sailing to start the game, looking like it was going to be one of those 4-5s, smooth, easy, clean sheet, and then we switch off to start the second half, concede a sloppy set piece goal, then we concede a worldie from Justin, and all of a sudden, 2 late goals in injury time, and the score looks good. But any fan of football that watched the game would know, that was way too much drama for my liking, especially, no disrespect to Leicester, to a team like Leicester, especially when you're playing so well and you have them looking like they're against the ropes, you kind of let them back in the game. So for me, I think all those things, coupled with the fact that we got a morale boosting Champions League victory in the week, I just feel like it's a bad timing for the Southampton team to be playing us. I also think that because Southampton is so stuck in their ways, Arsenal has one of the best and most, I would say, when we trap you in a certain area in that press, in that initial phase, it's very, very difficult to get out. So, with all the things I've just talked about with Southampton struggling to find those right pockets of space beating the press, I can see, a situation where at least two to three chances are created just strictly from the press being too good for them. So, look, the Hollywood person in me, or the Hollywood scenario person in me, is like, we maybe don't put away the chances on the day because Ramsdale has a masterclass and, whatever. But I don't even see nothing like that being able to happen. I think Ramsdale will concede. And, I feel like I wouldn't be also surprised if Ramsdale don't make even a mistake in the game playing out against our pressure that causes his team a goal as well. So let's see, though. Arsenal do have a tendency for some reason at home to not have that same, like, just determination to keep the clean sheet. So I always worry at home that we just have that momentary lapse where we give up a chance too good for them to not take. But I'm hopeful that going into this international window, the players are really going to take some pride in keeping this particular clean sheet, because, I think this league is gearing up to be one that's going to be extremely close. And I think all these little concessional goals matter. So, when you look at that Leicester game, for example, to me, that's a 4-0 type of game. and that 15 minutes to start the second half changed everything. So we just need to eliminate that little lapse of time, because it was clearly a lapse on Arsenal's part. They weren't as sharp to start that second half. So hopefully we can avoid that little spell. And if we do so, I believe that we'll get the 4-0 that I thought we were going to get after halftime in that last game. So I'm going to say 4-0 to the Arsenal. 4-0 to the Arsenal, people. 4-0 to the Arsenal. So let's see if you guys agree with what I have to say or disagree. Let's see. All right, so Nick agrees. Nick says 4-0. Charlie said 3-0. Chile said 4-0 as well. So it looks like that's the popular. Fabi said 5. All right. Do we have 6? Do we have 6? Avi said 4 as well. Biggs G said 3. Duke agree with the 4. Well, the 4 well popular. Chad said abolish the international break. Why the ball game have to play, Chaddy? Man, them have them trophy for win, and them, you know, man, them are ready up for them competition, them, so can't fight it. It is what it is, you know. Let's have a pray. Hope and pray settings. All right, the next game from the G-Tech Stadium, Brentford hosting Wolves. So let's look at the view. This one, 12th taking on 20th, so not as big a disparity here, but 7 points for Brentford, 1 point. Only that solitary 1 point for Wolves coming against Nottingham Forest. But this game right here, people, it is one that, you know, obviously when you look at the table, you look at the recent form, you want to say, boy, Brentford should win the game. But I honestly and truly believe that even now, up to now, Wolves is better than the 1 point they have. I'm telling you, people, if you look at the results, right, this Chelsea was a beating. That was a beating. This Aston Villa Wolves game, you know, people, remember, you know, is 3 goal. The man them score late for win that game, you know. And Wolves was playing well enough to get a second goal in that game. Same thing with this Newcastle game. It could have went either way. They should have gotten a 2-goal advantage at some point. So, look, yes, you have to blame them. They're culpable. A lot of these games, they've had leads. They can't hold on to it. But I feel like this Wolves team, man, they're one of these weeks they're going to get a result. The question is this the week? So far, Brentford this season, you know, you see their form in the last 5. They've played only 2 home matches in the last 5. They beat Southampton 3-1, and they drew last week with West Ham. Of course, the big story is the last 3 games, the 3 goals Brentford have scored have been in the first minute of play. This was last week again, Brian Mbeumo with the Valley. But this is how they lined up last week. Vandenberg and Pinnock, Ayer and Collins at fullback. Then you had Schade in midfield with Keane, Lewis Potter. They played wide. Damsgaard and Janelt played centrally. Then up front they had Fabio Carvalho and Brian Mbeumo. And of course, you know, right now they're without Wissa. Big loss for them. Looking at their bench options that didn't start last week, really don't see much there to say. You know, maybe they'll give a chance to the young Turk Konak. But another way they could change things up, Schade could partner Brian Mbeumo, which is what I thought we would see, honestly. But Schade is very dangerous on those flanks, so maybe that's why he's playing out there. But they do have other options that they could potentially play. Yarmouk could start wide, and then you play Carvalho wide as well, and you start Schade up front. So the different variations could be used. I think the back line probably pretty much will stay the same. I know Ben Mee was starting a lot last season. I haven't really seen him get a run out this season. Vandenberg seems to be more a favorite of the manager. So let's see if they keep this back line as well. Flecken in goal, pretty much a mainstay. But Brentford, you know, they have gotten some decent results. They are in at 7 points right now. If you look back at their games, you know, they had tough losses, but tough games. One at the Etihad and one at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And then, of course, another trip to Anfield. So really and truly, the 7 points is decent value for them. They got the opening day win. They beat Southampton and they drew with West Ham. And, of course, the 3 games they have lost, I think pretty much everybody in the predictions probably predicted them to lose those games. So, a club like Brentford, you have to look at it like, the games that on paper you should win, you have to probably win, because it's going to be very hard to turn over some of these bigger teams away from home. So this would be one they would probably count as one they should be getting the 3 points from. Wolves is struggling, and a team that's pretty much around them as far as aspirations would be concerned for the league. So these are the games you'd want to get the 3 points. So I think for all those reasons and the current form, I give Brentford the slight edge in this one. I do think Wolves will be a threat, as they are in pretty much every game they've played so far, but for whatever reason, they're just on the wrong side of these results, and I don't think it's going to change this week either. But I think that Wolves maybe get a point out of this game, though, to be honest with you. I'm gonna say this game ends 1-1. I'm gonna say this game ends 1-1. I was gonna go for the 2-1, but I'm thinking this game ends 1-1, people, to be honest with you, Let's just look at the Wolves team last game as well. John Stone in goal has pretty much taken away the job from Jose Sa. Really didn't see that one coming, to be honest. Aït-Nouri and Semedo back fit, so they're playing full back for them. Santi Bueno got the start with Totti Gomez last week. I think that's been an issue for Wolves, getting that continuity at centre-back with a pairing. A very Brazilian-looking midfield now currently, since they brought in Andre. Mario Lemina is not from Brazil, but look like he could be them cousins still. So, and then you have Bellegarde as well, who I think probably might be sacrificed for this game. They have a lot of options in that role. They could go with Guedes from the start. They could go with Wang from the start. Rodrigo Gomez also. Carlos Forbes looked lively in his appearance as well. So they have some options wide. Sarabia in the doghouse, not really getting games this season. So Wolves have a lot of pieces that they could potentially use. I think Gary O'Neill is still trying to find the most informed 11 to play. I think the 2 issues for Wolves right now, the centre backs, and also finding the right combination on the flanks as well. So let's see how they work that one out. But for me, I think it's a step in a decent direction for them, and Brentford will rue dropping 2 points. It's going to be a 1-1 result, just like the week before against West Ham. All right. I am going for the 1-1, people. What do you guys say? So Big said 2-2. Biggs G said 2-2. Chad said the same. So everybody going with a draw so far. Nick agree with the 1-1. All right, 1-1. Hot Chili said 1-1. So wait. Everybody see it like me that time, man. A beer draws. Somebody give me a winner, man. Somebody pick a winner. All right, Duke. Can count on you to do your own thing. 2-0. Wait, say not too surprising. Size a scrub. Well, him just had a crab. Him just had the job so long, But yeah, I don't think him is that good, to be honest. All right, Biggs G drop a full clip. So, make us see. 2-1 Bournemouth, him say. All right. Fair. 3-1 City. 2-1 West Ham. But every week, the man them go for West Ham, and them can't do nothing, What me say now, Duke? Jeez and peas. What me say now? 3-1 Villa. Every time him do this, him skip out and get 2-1 Castle. Every time him do this, me don't read a game. That me for say. 3-1 Villa. Them dead. 3-1 Chelsea and 2-1 Spurs. All right, Big G, you're lucky. Oh, why so many draws? Big G, bless up yourself, brother. Yeah, man, stay safe on the road. All right, so Brentford Wolves, analysis, everything done. We said draw. Most how we said draw. Duke and Duke alone. Say them thing there, I may get muscle when him forward with him list. All right, so the next game, Leicester and Bournemouth. This one interesting. Of course, people may never mention him, but good luck tomorrow to Big Bad Ethan Pinnock in the game. Hopefully, I get through with no issues. Of course, we'd love to see you in Jamaica, and I would assume you'd be getting there Monday. Yeah, so looking forward to that. So prayers up, people. All our ball of them get through the weekend unscathed, right? All right, so next game, Leicester and Bournemouth. And of course, Leicester have another reggae boy, Bobby Reid, but Bobby Reid hasn't really been playing much for this manager lately, Steve Cooper. So yeah, hopefully, if he does get game, same goes. Please get through that one with no issues, so you can be fit and rearing and ready to go. All right, so this was the team news for Leicester versus Arsenal last week. You know, James Justin got the brace. This guy Hermanson played like, I don't even know who the best keeper in the world right now. Well, that's who he played like last week. Christensen, the left back. Then you have Fass and Okoli. Of course, you heard Vestergaard back in training, but I don't believe that they're going to change this back line for now. Then in midfield now, you have Harry Winks and Skip. They played a bit deeper. And Ndidi is playing more of that creative role right behind the striker. Then you had Mavididi and Buonanotte wide, and Jamie Vardy, the ageless one, up front. Now they have options on the bench. Bilal was starting some games prior. It looks like, you know, the games that they think they'll have to play a more defensive game, they are going with Oliver Skip, and other times they'll play Bilal in there as well. We saw Chaudhry got an injury, so he might not be available. And this one, Fatawu did start some games, but that was before Mavididi was fit. Bobby the Cordova Reed did forward on in the Arsenal game, but very late. Jordan Ayew, he's one that could be drafted back into the starting lineup. They could go for Hudson Edward instead of Vardy from the start. But let's see what they do there. I think there's a lot of moving parts and options. And Cooper has shown, even with his time at Forest, that he's not afraid to chop and change every week. So I'm sure he'll be utilizing the full squad. And let's see if Bobby Reid gets back into that rotation of starting a match, because it's been a few weeks since that has happened. All right, so that is the Leicester team news going into the game. Now let's look at Bournemouth. As we said earlier, because we talked about Southampton, they beat Southampton last week. This was their lineup for that 3-1 win. Kepa was in goal. I don't see that changing. I don't see this backline changing much either. Of course, Adam Smith, the captain, has split time so far with Julian Araujo, who they got from Barca, the Mexican international. He might come back in, not sure. But I do think Senesi and Zabarni is the best pairing. A little more continuity from last season. Then in midfield, I think Cook and Christie pretty much are a couple of the first names on the team sheet, have a good relationship in that midfield. Both pretty technical players as well. I think it's a part of the reason why Bournemouth is a decent ball-playing team. They have two very technical central midfielders. Then you have Tavernier, who in the last game was playing behind the striker, but personally, I think he functions a lot better on one of the flanks. Ouattara and Semenyo took up that mantle last game, and Evan Nielsen was up front. I do expect this game coming up, though, to see Kluivert back in the starting lineup in that role behind the striker. I think Ouattara will be the one sacrificed and Tavernier will start. That's what I think is going to happen. But Ouattara did get a goal. It was a fluky one, but it was a goal nonetheless. So maybe not. But me personally, I don't think that Tavernier is as effective when he plays in behind the striker. I think he looks a lot more comfortable on either flank, left or right. But yeah, the super sub for them, Sinistera, tends to give them something when he comes on late in the match. So look out for that. And yeah, other than that, let's see. This one, though, is a tough one really to predict. I mean, when you look at the recent form of both teams, you know, Bournemouth had some tough losses. Chelsea, Liverpool, great comeback win against Everton, and then the good win last week against Southampton and the 1-1 draw. And when you look at Leicester now, you know, they got beaten 4-2, but a good performance, I thought, for parts of the game against Arsenal. Definitely that early part of the second half. Leicester and Everton drew the week before. They drew with Crystal Palace. They lost to Villa, lost to Fulham. So, prior to last week, they had a couple draws in a row, but I think they would want to get 3 points on the board from somewhere, and they might look at this Bournemouth team as a good, good team to maybe get it from. But for me personally, people, I just feel like Bournemouth gained a bit of confidence against Southampton. I think they really did need more than any other team to just play a team that they could just be free-flowing and play some football against. And they got that chance last week. So I think that's going to carry over. I know it's a different opposition, so it won't be as easy. But, I just feel like Bournemouth, they have the potential to click even more than they have been. And I think we're gonna see a bit more of that. I think Evan Nielsen is getting more comfortable with his teammates, with the speed of play in the league and everything. So, I'm going to go for the away win in this one. I know a lot of people probably might go for the draw. Some may even think Leicester might win, but for me, I'm going to say Bournemouth. I think Semenyo, again, going to cause a lot of problems. And I don't know. I just feel like for Leicester, I don't see it. I don't see it. But I do think Leicester will get a goal in the game. I don't know if Vardy will score, but somebody will. But I'm going to say 2-1 to Bournemouth. I'm going to say 2-1 to Bournemouth, people. That's my prediction for this one. 2-1 to Bournemouth. Yeah, man. Steve Cooper playing ND as a 10 and Bobby Reed on the bench. That is a fact. That is a fact. I don't think Steve sees him in that 10 role, because I've only seen him play left or right side of their system. So I guess he's not thinking that's a spot for him to play. All right, Nick said 2-2. I was thinking I was leaning dry, but changed my mind. 2-1 Cherries. All right, Chadim, I got you. Bless up float. What go on? Avis said 2-1 Bournemouth as well. Hot Chili said 3-2. It's an exciting one. I wouldn't mind to watch a game like that still. BX Gunner 81 say, boy, Bronx Gunner, I mean, I have no other score for you, I just that, But you can fill in the rest of them still. 2-2. Duke say 1-1. I don't know if Fabi Flanagan 1 year or Sterling to get a first start of the season. Boy, BX Gunner, I don't feel so, I don't feel so. I feel like Arsenal coach, you might see the same damn team that you just saw against Paris if them all fit. Maybe the backline might have to make a change because Timber no 100, But the man in a ramp for us play the same people in a boss. I think they will get more minutes this game, though. I think he will pull off players faster this time because of the midweek game. But I think he might go with the same lineup. All right, the next game. John will start and put the City game at 10 o'clock with the Arsenal game. Sure. Can't even do my upper long. For us, go on and see what I go on. So this game right here may be surprising to some going into the season, but Fulham right there in 6th place. I mean, if they can pull a shock result and win the game, they'll be drawn level on points with Man City. That's amazing to think when you look at, going into this season where people might have had these two teams. When you look at the run of fixtures recently, Fulham really, not much to complain about. They have the 2 draws, sandwiched by 3 victories, 1-0 last week, 3-1 the week before, 1-1, and then 2-1 against Leicester at the Cottage. So this one will actually be at the Etihad this time. Last week, obviously Man City coming off of 2 draws. That Arsenal game at home, everybody knows about that one. The late show by John Stones, and then the Newcastle game last week. Some would say phantom penalty call, but in the end it was called and Gordon dispatched it nicely. So they were held to the 1 point at the St. James Park venue. This week now, they're back in more familiar surroundings at the Etihad. If you look at their fixtures at home this season, the 4-1, the 2-1, and then the draw with Arsenal. I guess you could call that a bit indifferent form, 2 wins and a draw. But of course, the draw came against what many consider the closest title challengers this season. No disrespect to Liverpool, but I think most people would say that. And then, this game here, Fulham, I think if you're a Fulham team, you're probably looking at it like, okay, we're going to the Etihad, very, very tough place to go. But if I'm Fulham, I'm thinking this is probably the best time to come because, one, I think they're still kind of getting into the groove of the league. Some of the players that you would consider to be really, really important players, the Fodens of the world, De Bruyne, they're not really fully up and running yet. I mean, Foden did start the Champions League game, so I think he's a lot closer to that top Foden that we are used to seeing, or we have been seeing last season and the last few seasons. But I think that the absence of Rodri though can't be understated. I still, and I keep saying this, I don't really see, and there's no replacement for Rodri really, but they don't really have another player that even kind of does the things that he would do. The functions of that type of role and how he plays the role. They don't have another player like that to fill it. So it is going to take a bit of time, I think. Last week, if you look at their lineup, this is what Pep decided to do. He went with Ederson in goal, of course. He had the back four, probably, I would say, his strongest defensive back four, this one right here. Then in midfield, some were saying maybe he'll go back with Stones in midfield. He didn't decide to do that. He went with Rico Lewis, actually, in that midfield. And he was playing deep with Kovacic. It was kind of Rico Lewis, Bernardo, and not Bernardo, Rico Lewis, Gundogan, and Kovacic. Just kind of, they all kind of took turns, like dropping deep. It was very interchangeable. Kovacic for the most part was the deepest player out of them, but sometimes Rico was back there. It was kind of really interchanging in that midfield. Silva and Grealish, I think, it's almost as if he's either gonna play the more orthodox winger type of players, or he's gonna go with Jack and Bernardo. He used to always play either or, like, because he didn't want both of the same type of winger out there, like more of retention wingers, maybe not take on wingers. But this season, it looks like he's been using the wingers that take on the players a lot in tandem. He brought them on at the same time in the last game. I've seen multiple games this year where Doku and Savinha start. So that's kind of a change in philosophy for Pep from what he had been doing in recent years for me, because it was almost like he always had one or the other type of player on those flanks. But this year it's looking like he's trying to unlock something in that box for Haaland, playing those wingers more often together. So let's continue to monitor that moving forward. If you can kind of predict when you see Jack name, you're going to see Bernardo name, or will he continue to mix and match those wing players? But again, Rodri's hole is a glaring one. They need to fill it somehow. Last week, it was kind of by committee, so they had Ilkay there. He came off in the 66th minute. They brought on Foden and did a reshuffle. So yeah, let's see how he shuffles the pack and makes it make sense, because it's going to be a long time without Rodri. And I do think he is the most important player. I would say probably him and Haaland, of course. Haaland last year, they could have done without him, because I think Alvarez in this system going to give you goals as well. Maybe not at the prolific rate, but it's not like they're going to struggle for goals with him. He will bag goals as well in this system. So I don't really see that immediate replacement this time. But Pep has done it before. You'll see Gundo playing false nine, Foden playing false nine. So I'm sure they would find a way. But again, it's not as cut and dry, the replacements, like some of the years past. So let's see how they handle all of that moving forward. Now for Fulham, let's give them some time and see what their team has been looking like. I think for them, one of the revelations for me has been Raul Jimenez. Really surprising me. I thought that Muniz, the player that kind of came to prominence last season, would continue that run and really, solidify himself as one of the better strikers in the league. That has not panned out the way I thought. He hit a brick wall this season, early in the season. Raul Jimenez was getting chances in the smaller competitions, doing his thing, finally got his chance in the league and took full advantage of it. So I don't expect him to lose his place again. I know there was that thing about him taking the penalty, but again, he scored it. coach say he apologized. I don't think Marco Silva is the type to bench players for things like that. He's a pretty straight shooter. I'm telling you about it, him talk about it, it's probably done. I expect this to stay the same tomorrow. This is pretty settled right now. Tete has gotten that starting role over Castagna on that right side. Then in the midfield, Adama Traore, maybe not giving you the goals and assists recently, but I do think that, just his energy level and stuff on that wing is a problem. Maybe Pep has PTSD as well, because I remember when he was on Wolves, he did have some days against City where he caused them a lot of issues. So they would expect him to really put that back line under pressure. It will be, not really a take on Merchant at this stage, more of a prober, creator, trying to find space, find the half space, and he does it well, to be honest. Pereira, I've been impressed with this season because he has changed roles, not really playing so attacking this season, but still being able to affect the game in positive ways. Lukic has stepped in pretty well for Paulinho. Obviously not the tackling machine, but still a good piece in that midfield, good size, good physicality. A good player in that midfield. And then of course Smith Rowe, the player who they brought over from Arsenal, giving some decent production as we expected. I didn't think that he would have trouble, getting into this team and fitting in. So, good moves from them. Reece Nelson, we've been watching. We're thinking, can he force his way into the starting lineup? As of right now, he looks to be like the first person to come off the bench for the most of the games. So let's see if that role is something that becomes a permanent thing for him, or will he eventually get a chance to get a run out in this first team? We'll have to keep watching that and see. But for me, people, I think Fulham is catching Manchester City at a good time. The question is it a good enough time? Does Fulham have enough self-belief to play the same as they have been playing so far this season? When you get to City and they start pinging that ball around, it can deflate teams. But let's see, last year it was not good viewing for the Fulham fans. As you can see, it was 5-1 and 4-0. But again, I think that Fulham team last season, not quite as settled as this Fulham team has been this season. So let's see if that plays a role, people. The recent injuries to some key people for City, and also Fulham having some great form. We have to be honest with ourselves. Nottingham Forest last week, that was a big scalp for them. We know they were without Gibbs White, but still tough place to go and get a result, and they got it done. Can they continue that this week at a tougher place? As much as my heart wants to say that this is going to be a drawn game or Fulham will pull an upset, my footballing brain is telling me don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. So I think this one will finish in the end 3-1 to Man City. I think Fulham will make a good game of it though, but I think City in the end will just be a bit too much. Just be a bit too much. Fulham need to do the business. Boy, I hope so, BX. Yeah, man, so BX a go feet. The man say, 2-1, 2-1 Fulham, 1-0 Thief inside. All right, so 1-0 to Fulham. No, a joke. I know you attack City. 1-0 City, him say. Chad said 2-0 City. Say. I beg again, don't start Kyle Walker right back with Rico starting in CDM. Rather, Rico play right back and then move into CDM in position. Yeah, actually, you've been saying that, Duke said 3-0 City. City have an issue keeping clean sheet, so I'm say 3-1. Rather, Bernardo play deeper with Gundo or Kova, but that's just me. Okay, so you rather them move him out of the little right fake winger space when play now. Okay, I'm not really play out there when I'm out there. I'm just kind of that's what them put on the paper. But the man might pop up anyway. Yeah, I think Bernardo Silva has some of the most freedom of any player in this rigid system, full football that play today. The man literally can do whatever he want to because he's that smart. I don't wrong the coach, man, because the man brilliant, mentally brilliant on a football field. That is the truth. All right, so Avis, may I get all of them? Okay, so Avis there, 2 all. I say where Avis gone. All right, so next game, people. Another one that the Reggae Boys fans will be looking at keenly. If they're not watching it, I'm sure they'll be getting the updates and trying to see, because we have none other than Mikel Antonio in this one. Recently called up again. This one is I wouldn't say it's a relegation 6-pointer. It's too early for that. But these teams really languishing lower down in the table. West Ham and Ipswich. Of course, Ipswich, maybe not the most surprising thing for them to be in 15th. But West Ham, for me, is a big surprise. I didn't think that Lopetegui would have so many issues implementing his new style. But they're really, really struggling. I think last week, probably for them, a better result. They were able to at least get a point in this one. But I think for Lopetegui, the issue has really been trying to implement a style that maybe the players he has don't quite fit. I do think that Todibo getting back fit will help. I think he's a player that needs to just get quickly used to the league, because I do think he can add something to their back line. Kilman, the big money signing. I don't think he has been poor personally, but it's never good when you get a big money move and then the team's form just takes a huge dip. It's almost like you are the one associated with when it went bad. So, hopefully for him, they can, find some semblance of form so that people don't start to raise the question of, was this a good signing? Because that will come, I'm sure. Wan-Bissaka has been pretty consistent, even though they haven't been playing well. I think he's been decent. Emerson, really found wanting defensively a lot of times. And, in fairness to him, I don't think he was ever the greatest defender, just a very good technical player, good energy. But I do think he's been struggling with injuries, and it's really hampering his game a lot. Midfield now, this is where I think the main problems are, besides that centre-back pool. The midfield, to me, just lacking energy. They have different combinations they can use. I've seen the Guido, Thomas, and Paqueta a few times. I've seen Edson and Guido and Souček. I've seen Edson, Guido, and Lucas. But to be honest, no matter what combination they use, I feel like they're always missing a little bit of energy. Kudus hasn't really gotten going yet. Was pulled off at halftime last game. Really, I think he could have been pulled off a lot of other games, but I think the coach has really been trying to play him into form. Bowen as well been quiet in terms of the numbers. Maybe not as quiet gameplay-wise as Kudus has been, but, I think apart from the first couple of games when Kudus was a bit unlucky with some opportunities, he really has been getting quieter and quieter in these games, which should be a big worry for West Ham, because I would think, to get the most out of this team, you'd want these three players right here, Paqueta, Kudus, and Bowen, to be the main, creators and creativity valves for the team. Then you have Mikel Antonio. I thought he had a really good performance in their last game against Brentford. 75 minutes of just terror for the opposition backline. I expect more of the same. Danny Ings is the only one there in reserve. Fulcro is still out. Somerville is a player I think they need to find some more opportunities for somehow. And Soler has come in a few times now in some games. Maybe he can add a different element to that midfield, maybe more in line with what Lopetegui might want out of that midfield. So I think he's still trying to find the solutions. But this game came a bit quick for him, this Ipswich game. So I don't know if they're going to figure it all out yet. Let's take a look at Ipswich. They had a really good result for them when you look at it against Aston Villa. They were able to pull out that 2-2 draw. And then this week now, they will travel to London to take on this West Ham side. So this was the team they used last week. I don't expect this back four or the keeper to change. Leif Davis, look for him going out attacking if you're looking for like a cheaper defender in the FPL. That is somebody to look at. No, the clean sheets is a worry. He'll probably concede a lot, but he's on a lot of set-piece duty for them, and he does have license to bomb forward down that left side and does so pretty effectively with a good cross. So that's a player that you can, if you don't have no money and you need a baller for just fill a slot in defense, that's a decent one there. This was the starting midfielders for the last game. This coach has changed out the wingers quite a bit in the system. Omari has been pretty much playing that 10 role every time. So let's see if that continues as well. Liam Delap with a good game last game with the brace. He should continue in the starting lineup. But Connor Chaplin, West Burns, these players could potentially come on, so can Smadix. There's some options to switch it up and freshen it up, but let's see. I thought Clark was good last game. I thought Ogbene does offer them that stretching of that width on that right side to kind of make up for, the fact that they don't really send their right back to Anzebe up much. So, they try to balance the pitch in that way, and we could see that happen as well. Clark and Davis could link up on that opposite wing. So, that's what I think Ipswich will come with tomorrow. Will it be enough to take on this West Ham side? I think it's a good time to be playing West Ham. They have not really quite figured it out, I don't think, yet. So, let's see. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest, people. I mean, I want to say West Ham is like really due for a result. If you look at their game so far, they have yet to register a win at their stadium, I think. Or did they win the first game this year? Let me check something. Hold on. I think they might have won the first game. Let's go back. Oh, they lost to Villa first week. Okay, so yeah. So West Ham have what, 4 draw? 4 draw them have? That's crazy, Let me see. Yeah, 1, 2. No. So them get 5 points. 1, 2. And then win. So who them beat? Oh, them beat Palace. That's right. Second game of the season. Channel Star. Say West Ham now go win. Call them worthless. You know what? Them are going to win. West Ham are going to win, I'm going to get a 1 win. 2-1 West Ham, I say. I'm going to fight it out, but I'm going to get it. 2-1 West Ham. So 2-1 West Ham, I say. Bernard, our teacher's pet. Yeah, man, Bernard don't have no position, brother. Them man, they just run around and play football. West Ham 2-1, all right? Well, actually, I don't like how this is going, brother. You just have everything I say, I said to that never worked well for me the last time. 1-1 late Danny Ings equalizer. Where you say the script done right already? Danny Ings like a late goal still, But it seems like when Paqueta played good, Emerson also played good. They both haven't been playing good. I know off the pitch they have a really good relationship, because of course Emerson, Brazilian background, he represents Italy, but I'm sure they have that link there because his family is Brazilian. So Nick said 2-2. Yeah, that was the score I had in my head, Nick. But at the last second, I say, you know what? West Ham winning, man. West Ham manager needs to be sacked while it's still early. 3-0 Arsenal, Saka, Havertz, and Truss or Sterling. Okay, mass forward now. I'm going to drop everything. So 3-0. Brentford 2-1. Duke said West Ham 2-1. I agree with you, Duke, on that one, sir. 2-1 a popular score. Same thing Biggs G did say. No, man, me know actually, me know. That's why I kind of do it the way I do it, While I run down the analysis and thing, I have the comments lock off. And that way, I'm going to set the score too early so then I get influenced. I just talk until I figure out, Yeah, man, I kind of get the hang of when for do them thing, because It's true, you know, actually. Them when you wait too long for your score prediction, it mess you up, you know. Because you're there, I get influence as you look on everybody else thing. Damn, City. 2-1 over Fulham. Where you say, even though you want to see it happen, it not go happen, me. 2-1 City. I'm going to wait on a Villa. But it must look like them put something in the Jamaican food, you know. Yeah, man, send it in the Discord too because it's all over the place. But I try to keep up same way. All right, so that is the last 10 o'clock game before we get into the one that I'm sure everyone will be tuned into because it's the only game. Well, maybe not everyone. Everton Newcastle. And this one will be the late kickoff on Saturday. Newcastle in 7th, Everton out of the relegation zone now with that win last week, courtesy of 2 Dwight McNeil strikes, 4 points right above the relegation in 16th, a couple places above. Last year, Everton got 4 points off Newcastle. So Newcastle will be out for a little bit of revenge, as last year in this corresponding fixture, they lost 3-0. Let's just take a look at Newcastle. We know they're having some issues with their striking department. Really no number 9s fit. They do have the youngster Will Osula, but don't see them using him to lead the line. So I think Anthony Gordon will continue to play that striker role. Harvey Barnes and Jacob Murphy more than likely to keep their places wide. Then in midfield is where we sometimes see the mixing and matching and the changing. You know, of course, Longstaff and Willock candidates to start as well in the midfield. So you might see a combination of the 3 of those 5 in that midfield. Almiron has really fallen out of favor. Don't necessarily see him get much minutes anymore. Another thing that's been changing a lot is this back line. Not necessarily the centre backs. They have been the same, Shar and Byrne, but Hall and Trippier can easily be Livramento and Lloyd Kelly, or any variation of the 2 of those 4 players with just name. So, you know, he hasn't really settled, I don't think, on what he deems his perfect 11. And we're going to just need to continue to monitor and see. I think this is a team, if you do play FPL, it's very difficult to pick up one of these defenders because you just don't know, besides the 2 center backs, who is going to play. But yeah, I think a lot of the players, though, do pick themselves pretty much every week. If Bruno is fit, I think he's playing. Joe Linton is approaching that territory for Eddie Howe now. I can see he really just likes to use him. Whenever he's fit, he's going to use him. I've seen him even push Joe Linton into a more forward role just to make sure he's still on the pitch. So, yeah, I think the team, there'll be a few surprises as far as who starts, but the core of the team pretty much will be the same, you know. And then when you look at the opposition for them, Everton, as I said, they have had a decent enough uptick. I mean, they had no points going into the game against Leicester. They got the point there. Then they got the big win at Goodison Park last week. You know, will that win kind of galvanize them a bit more, maybe get them a little bit more breathing room from the relegation side of things? Let's see. But in this one last week, big news for them really was Branthwaite's return. I think that will help them moving forward. You know, I almost forgot a bit that this guy still was in the team, but he is quality. I think he is one for the future for England and for the Premier League in general. Mikalenko also had been unfit for a while. He's back, so it's starting to look a bit more like the first choice backline. Ashley Young, another ageless wonder, still doing his thing, or trying to. And then you have Dwight McNeil, Mangala, Ilman Njai, Abdallah Doucouré, and Jesper Lindstrom, and then up front, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who after a decent start in the first part of the season has cooled down just a little bit. Then, you know, have quite a few options on the bench. James Garner will starting a lot earlier in the season. Idrissa Gueye has started previously in the Prem. Jack Harrison, I thought, changed the game when he came on in that second half, very lively. So does that warrant him to get a place back into the team? Lindstrom got the start over him last game. Maybe he returns back to the starting lineup this week, but we shall see. As I said, this one maybe not the easiest to call, just due to the fact that Newcastle really and truly is just not the same when they travel away from St. James Park. I don't think they're as effective as a team. They don't really put you under as much pressure when you're not, in the cauldron that is St. James Park. So I think for those reasons, I think Goodison with the win last week will be a bit more excited. The atmosphere should be good. I think that Everton find a way to not lose this game. But I'm not going to go so far to say Newcastle drop all 3 points. I think that this one has the potential to be a 1-1 affair. And that's what I'm going to go with, a 1-1 draw, Everton and Newcastle. So Newcastle, maybe not the best result for them going into the window, but I do think that they will get the draw. So that's what I will go with. See? Big up yourself next up. What go on, bro? Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, my daughter doing well, As a matter of fact, I try if I don't show you at a decent time because early morning, trip. I have a game tomorrow. I wouldn't say it's a must-win game, but it's a team we're kind of close to us in the table, and we're trying to make a big move this weekend with the 2 games that we have. So, really want to get the 3 points tomorrow, people. So, yeah, man, bright and early settings. Ship out. Game actually I kick off the same time as Arsenal. So, you don't know, man's have to, watch Arsenal. Watch that part of the Arsenal game back again because you don't know. I will be focused on little Juju game tomorrow for them time there, Big baller Juju. Yeah, man. Shall improve, man. I'm not lie. Very, very proud of our progress this season so far. All right, 1-1. Actually, say 1-1. Chad Chambers not buying into this Everton last few weeks getting results. Him said 2-0 to the Magpies. Nick said 2-1 to the Magpies as well. Duke agree with my scoreline. No, Avis agree with my scoreline. 1-1. Duke said 1-0 to Newcastle. She play either center midfield or center back. No, her mother never played football. Her mother used to play basketball. So she gets some athleticism from the both of us, But yeah, man, all the ball come from you listening and looking at him, Yeah, man. If you know, you know. It was not a joke thing, Duckland. I was a decent footballer in my day. All right, so Aston Villa versus Manchester United. And let's take a look at the quick view and look at the recent results of these teams. So last week, of course, the 2-2, Ipswich and Aston Villa. Villa before that had some good wins, 3-1, 3-2, 2-1 Leicester. So a nice string of 3 wins on the bounce. They beat West Ham in the first week, lost to Arsenal, of course. So only the 1 loss and the 1 draw, the rest wins. So a good start to the season, Aston Villa, and in 5th on the same points with Chelsea, just behind them on goal difference. Manchester United, on the other hand, not faring so well. They've played 6. Their goal difference is -3. And they have 7 points on the season. So I think I saw a stat that this is the worst start in the Premier League ever or something like that. The United fans can help me with that. But, many of you probably won't want to see this again. But this was the last week performance from United, 3-0. Of course, the game marred by the red card from Bruno. As a matter of fact, let me know in the comment section, people, before you start to drop the scores or whatever. So I see Nick's score, but that now will influence me. Yo, Nitro, send me the rest of your game, them, Because I know say he's a man where send me everything, So, I see you start on the Everton Castle, yeah. You pick a good score, Nitro, 1-1. Yeah, man, that score that can work. Yeah, but yeah, this was the game last week with United, But I wanted to know, though, from the United fans, I never get anything definitive on. I saw where they said that they downgrade the card. So that means that Bruno, he would have been a 3-game ban because of straight red. What did they say? Just a 1-game ban, or is no ban at all, or what? They rescind the card altogether? Let me know. Because I don't know. I don't think that Bruno is listed as not able to play in the fantasy game. So that made me think that they took it away. So Yeah, I'm not certain on that, and I didn't check it. So let me know. Let me see if they have anything latest. No. That's the latest from this match. Anyway, let's look at the starting lineup. Don't foresee any of this changing. I mean, they did have the subs made in the Europa League match. I don't know if there's any issues with them. He didn't mention any of them in the press conference, but we did see the subs. Saw Maguire and Evans come on. So I don't know if that was just precaution. He did mention he was thinking about the Villa game Sunday, so maybe those were pre-planned time. He wasn't going to let people get over a certain amount of minutes in that game. Rashford started last week, came off at halftime, so more than likely will start again. We saw Ahmad start in the midweek game, so maybe that means Garnacho and Rashford start in the league. Let's see, Ericsson had been playing prior to this game, didn't start this one, but came on. I honestly feel like the midfield play better when Ericsson play, but you do lose a lot of the athleticism that you might need. So, I think who they partner with him makes a huge difference. We saw Casemiro start in midweek. Is that a sign that maybe, he's trying to, find him a spot again back in the team? I think it's a lot of questions, really and truly. Xerxes started last week, but didn't really do much in his half. Of course, Haaland got the start in the midweek, got the goal. Do we see him start in the league now? A lot of question marks for them. And I just don't know how confident this United team can really feel right now. And on the other hand, Villa, they do have a lot going on with the injuries. Bailey's potentially out, so is Jacob Ramsey. But I think they still have the pieces that I think they would definitely need. They have Watkins firing, they have John Duran firing. I think that's going to be big issues for Manchester United. I think Morgan Rogers has proven to have some consistency now in his performance. You pretty much know what you're going to get from him. Onana did leave the game against Bayern early, so that's a big thing for them. If he can't play, more than likely Ross Barkley would get the start. So not the worst player in the world to be playing. So I don't think you'll lose so much. I mean, Onana is a better player, but Ross Barkley is not a chump. And the back line, maybe Diego Carlos drops. He does have a mistake in him every now and again, but he's very strong. So they might keep him on there to handle that, the Haaland or the Xerxes kind of physicality component. Ezri Konsa has proven to be just as good at the right back. Honestly, he doesn't really lose much playing right back or center back, so very versatile. Paul Torres, I think it's a good partnership with Diego Carlos because Torres maybe doesn't have the foot speed that Carlos does, but I think Paul Torres reads the game a lot better than Carlos does. So, it's kind of like, what the other one lack, the other one have. So it's a good partnership. And Luka Dean has proven to be, very difficult for Matson to take his place. Some might have thought maybe he was coming in to start, but Dean has been playing well and he has been holding down that left back spot. So let's see if that continues. This will change though. I believe both of these players will not be there. I do think Jaden will probably start, Jaden Philogene. And then on the other side, it's interesting because he has Buendia, who could potentially play. And then you could put Morgan Rogers in one of the wider roles. But I don't think he wants to change up that synergy of that midfield with Rogers through the middle. So for me, it'll probably be Philogene and it's a lot of things he could do. I mean, he could change the system slightly, play Duran as a second striker. He could maybe play Matson more advanced as a left-sided, attacking player. So there's a lot of things he could try, and that's going to be an interesting thing to see. They did exert themselves quite a bit on Wednesday, so maybe he does opt for some fresher legs. He does have a few options, but I don't think the quality is quite the same if he goes wholesale. So yeah, I think he's gonna probably stick to what is closest to his 11 that he loves. Obviously the ones who are injured can't play, but I think he's gonna try to replicate a similar team to what we saw against Bayern if he can. But for me, I don't think Manchester United are going to win this game. The question for me is, does Aston Villa get all 3 points or not? I just don't see Man U going in there and turning them over, not on their current form and their psyche. I think Villa is way more settled in their structure, in what they're doing, the coach's instructions, all these things. So I think all those factors have to mean something. And I think for those reasons, I think Villa does get the 3 points actually and stay within striking distance of the ones really at the top. I'd say Villa gets 3 goals. So I'm gonna say 3-1. So another 3-goal conceded performance from United, I think. So let's see if I'm right, people, but I'm gonna go with 3-1 to Aston Villa on the day. So Nick did say 3-1 as well. No ban. Okay, Bruno literally trying to not get picked and the coach still a pick him. Chaddy said 3-2. Gamebird said 3-0 Villa. Achille said 2-1 Villa. Alright, Nitro, I drop in him, score them. Palace Pool 1-0 Liverpool. Gunners 5-0. Almost go so far. Brentford 1-0. Good score them here, pick, brother. Leicester 1, Bournemouth 2. City 2, Fulham 1. Hammers 2, Ipswich 2. Alright, you're caught up, Nitro. You're caught up. Villa 2-0. Avis Sevilla 2-1. Duke's a 3-1 Villa as well. Alright, so that is the Villa game, people. I think that most of us kind of agree. Even diehard United fans agreeing as well. I think at this point, the United fans are just going to predict against United because I think they just want to get Ten Hag out the door at this point. But long may he stay, man. Lifetime contract, we say. Lifetime contract. All right, so let me get this off the screen. That is United and Aston Villa. All right. Last year, United did the double over them. Wow. Seems like a long time ago. All right, so Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, second to last game of the week. This one will be the same time as the Villa game. I love watching Chelsea games. I think they're very exciting to watch, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably going to watch the Villa United game just because it's more fun to see the demise of United than watch Chelsea's nice style of play. So I'll be watching the Villa game, people. We call it the upper long, Even though I'm no big fan of Chelsea, but, I never had the hatred that I have for United for Chelsea, even on those years when Chelsea was so good with Mourinho and Drogba and all these people. And under other managers as well, they have had success. But I know there's supposed to be an Arsenal-Chelsea rivalry as well, but I've never, ever had the disdain that I have for Spurs and what them name? Spurs and United that I have for Chelsea. Like, I don't. Maybe it's because my dad is a Chelsea fan, so I never, I wouldn't say I pull for them, but I don't hate Chelsea. I've never hated Chelsea. I'm not gonna lie to people. But anyway, last week Chelsea played Brighton. This was the Cole Palmer versus Brighton game. 4 goals from Cole Palmer. So everybody in them granny went and got him for fantasy. I had him before, so call me a prophet. I got him the week before he got the 4 goals, not after. So all you running him down now, he's not going to score 4 goals every week, okay? So relax. All right, but this was starting lineup. Sanchez, the madman. I don't know, brother. The man had 2 performances that were half decent, and then last week, the man just go back to the regular old Sanchez again. Cucurella and Gusto played right back and left back. I think that is much better balance for them. They have been playing a centre back at right back with Gusto's absence, but they were able to, have a more balanced back line last week. Colwill and Fofana looks like to be the first choice at this point for Enzo Maresca as the centre backs. Then this is where it gets kind of hard for the coach. Caicedo and Enzo pretty much have been playing that deeper midfield role for the most part, but the three behind the striker. This looks to be the Premier League first choice right now. Noni right, Jaden left, and Cole Palmer in that kind of floating number 10 role. And then you have Nico Jackson up front. So he's pretty settled in his attack right now. The ones, of course, kicking down the door for the coach. Probably, I would say, Nkunku trying to find a way to get more minutes. João Felix, I'd say those two are probably the closest to getting into that starting setup. I thought Neto would be pretty close, but I think he's just a notch below for me. I think these two are really the ones that the coach is really trying to manage how he can get them more time. You know what I mean? João never even played last game, but really wasn't needed, to be honest. They were pretty much cruising for the most part in that second half, so didn't really need him to come on. And then of course Felix did start on the weekend or on Thursday. So, it's clear in the Premier League he has his kind of favorites. I guess that's why he got the question about two teams in the press conference. But yeah, it's if you have the squad, you might as well use it up. So he's chosen to go about it the way of, okay, these are going to be my Premier League 11, and then I'll have a starting 11 for Europe as well. So let's see if that continues in this vein. But for right now, all you people trying to figure out which Chelsea players to buy and put in your lineups, I do think that these attacking players, the front four of Sancho, Palmer, Madueke, and Jackson, are currently Enzo Maresca's first choice. So if they're fit, I think those guys will play. All right. Now, Nottingham Forest, let's take a look at them. They're in 10th position, so not too bad. They had their first loss of the season, I believe it was. Yes, their first loss of the season last week to Fulham. And this was the lineup they went with. Of course, they will have the added bonus of having back, I think, their most important player, Morgan Gibbs-White. He'll be back in that engine room of the midfield. Last week, they changed up the system completely, went to two strikers. I can see by halftime, he lost faith in that system and kind of went back to how it normally is, with Elanga playing a more wide role and changing the system again. So, I think he learned his lesson last week. The 4-4-2 was not where it's at for him and his team. And I think you'll go back to the 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 that we normally see from them, especially since they'll have that creative force in Morgan Gibbs-White to put right in behind the striker. So let's see how this one goes. I do think the back line potentially could be the same. Yeah, I think Milinkovic and Murillo are the starters now. Moreno maybe could bench, but it looks like Nuno is leaning towards Moreno for his experience on that side. And then in midfield is where we've seen changes a lot. We have seen games where Hudson-Odoi and Elanga actually start. I wonder if Chelsea is the game for that. Maybe he sees that they'll be playing that transition type of game. So maybe going up at them with a similar type of transition to those two wide players might be the way to go. But let's see how Nuno goes about it. We know on the road to teams that tend to, have the advantage, at least on paper, we know Nuno has a tendency to sometimes play it super safe. So let's see what he decides to go with next week. As you can see, without Morgan Gibbs-White, he went ultra defensive in midfield. Not much creativity per se in this midfield, besides maybe Nico Dominguez and Elliot Anderson to a lesser extent. James Ward-Prowse more so going to be a ball retention type of midfielder and a set piece merchant. Yates a hard worker. So, he has other ways he could go in midfield to maybe make it a bit more fluid and definitely more dangerous in transition. We're talking about the likes of Jota Silva, Callum Hudson-Odoi, even Ramon Sosa and Anthony Elanga. Those players are all better transition players to me. So I think sometimes he kind of shows his hand with the players he picks. He kind of know what his game plan is. And, I've seen him coach games where literally the first 60, 65 minutes, he don't care about anything. He just wanted to be nil-all, and then he can bring on his pacey players when the other team start to tire, and then you start to see the game open up just a bit, and they're just looking for that one goal to win the game. And in his defense, they have been able to do that a few times this year. I think that's a part of how they got the best of Liverpool. Kept it really compact. Same goes for the Southampton win. Even this 1-1 draw, very, very tight affair, tight fixture. The one game I thought had some back and forth in it was the Brighton game, which was, probably a bit more open than Nuno would even like. So you see last week it was back to the 1-goal scoring. So for me, it's going to be a battle of, the highest scoring team against one of the most stingy defenses. I will see who comes out on top. I do think that when you look at the way that Chelsea was able to rip apart Brighton last week, Nottingham Forest will not be offering the same type of space in behind. They will not play that suicidal line at the half line. I can guarantee you that. So, I don't know if it will be as free-flowing and as many chances created. I doubt there will be a hat-trick scorer in this one. I think Nuno will have his team well drilled and ready to, really just focus on keeping the score down, limiting the chances. But there's a supreme level of quality in this Chelsea team. I don't care what kind of buses they park. I'm sure they will create. The question is, how many times will they convert? Because I do think that the chances will be less than the normal Chelsea performance, just due to the way that Nottingham Forest play the game. And I think the added bonus of having Gibbs White back, at least there'll be something going the other way. And we've seen from Chelsea, they have a defense that will offer gifts to you. As I said, before the last game, they did have 2 clean sheets on the bounce, but I think those are further to an anomaly than the norm for Chelsea this season. And I think that will continue. I think Forest do find a goal. But I think Chelsea in the end will be a bit too much for them. But I think that they keep the score down. So I'm going to say they concede 1 more than they usually do, and that's 2. And that Nottingham Forest will find a 1 goal on the day. So, but I think Chelsea continues their winning run, and they get this win 2-1 on the day over Nottingham Forest. That's what I'm going for at the bridge. Let's see what people are saying. All right, Villa, Newcastle. Juju got all her athleticism from her mother. No, sir. Not even she would have said that. Chelsea 3-0 says Game Birds. My Sports World said Chelsea 3-1, I think. All right. Did I watch the interview with Jim Radcliffe? No, I have not. Give me a cliff notes there. I don't think I will. Jackson Madueke, Palmer looking good, and Nkunku now too. Yeah, Nkunku somehow need to find a way in there, man. I'm telling you. Chelsea's the only team that plays against 13 players every match. Chelsea 3, Forest 2. Actually, say 3-1 Chelsea. Chad said the same. So a lot of people think they will find a 1 goal. Some even said 2. I would give them 2 too, because, corners, free kicks. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, man, I've seen them do that tactic a few times, and I think they might use it against Chelsea because they would probably consider Chelsea, one of them teams. They have to make sure them chill out for. (3-1) Chelsea as well. All right, so moving right along, people. We're down to the last game of the week. Okay, so Radcliffe said Ten Hag in. Wow. Jano, don't play that for pressure, Man head might explode. Good Jollof. We know about good Jollof, mas. You're just a lover of all the foods. Cause you said Jamaican. Now you talk about the Jollof, the Nigerian. All right, so Brighton Spurs, people. I said last week that the Chelsea Brighton game would be one of the most exciting games. You can book it again, people. This Brighton Spurs game guaranteed to be exciting. The way these two teams play, talk about defensive suicide. Them side they don't know nothing. Them side they have a higher line than me. People always just say my line I go way back, showing my age. But trust me, them have some serious high line people. Both of these teams. So I feel like I don't see how, unless both teams just miss, and even if they miss a bag of chance, it's still going exciting because chance creation exciting in a football. So I just don't see how this game, I don't know what the over is as far as the bets, but believe me, consider the over because I don't think neither one of these teams, it's just going to be one of those games where the tactics match up so evenly, like how they want to play, that it's just going to be, to me, it's going to be one of these games. It's going to be like this, transition after transition, because I just feel like both teams play high line. Both teams want to impose themselves on the other team. So something going to have to give. So I just feel like chances is going to be what gives, It's not, I don't think it's going to be a case where they cancel each other out because the systems don't really provide for that. I just feel like it's going to be a suicide mission after the other, where it's just high line, one pass, you're in behind, and it's just about filling the channels properly when you whip that ball in, or just running the channels in the right way to have the right spacing to finish off the opportunities when you get in behind. So I just think both teams going to have a field day getting in behind each other defense, and it's just a matter of who is more clinical. When you look at Brighton's lineup last week, they got the 4-2, sorry. But I thought Brighton played decent in the game. The only problem with Brighton was the suicidal high line. And I think Adam Webster, who sadly looked like he's going to have to keep playing because Van Heck is out. They have Igor Julio as well, who came in for him. Me personally, I would be starting Igor Julio, not even a question. I've never been the hugest Adam Webster fan. And then when you factor in that he had such an egregious mistake and other bad plays in that game, I wouldn't be starting him again. I would just go ahead and play Igor from the start. Kadioglu got the start last week. I had him in one of my fantasy leagues, but it looked like they were really trying to take their time to bring him in. I think he's a quality player. He needs to find a way to get into this team. Estupinian still starting at left back as well. Then Baleba had a really good game in midfield last time, not just because of the goal. I thought, he really was imposing himself in that midfield on the ball. Very good technique, full of energy. Yeah, man, definitely. For whatever reason, Brighton does know to find them player. They keep recycling these good players in midfield. Weaver came over from the Netherlands, hasn't really hit the ground running, really been underwhelming if we're being honest. Hinselwood was back in midfield again. Ruta got the goal, I think his first for the club since joining. Then you have Danny Welbeck and Mitoma. Mitoma not really producing much goals and assist-wise, but I don't think he's playing badly, to be honest. He is still, doing his thing on that wing. Just needs to, add on the goals and assists like he was giving you previously. Enciso looks to be the guy off the bench that keeps getting cameos. Maybe it's time to give him a start, especially, João Pedro. They really didn't have I think they've been trying to replace Pedro with Ruta, but I feel like Enciso's skill set is more like Ruta, more like João Pedro, even though Ruta looks more like João Pedro, like physical-wise and size and everything. I think Enciso plays more like João Pedro. So if he's missing, to me, Enciso is the one to play the most like him and do the things he does the most, drive forward with the football. Not saying Ruta can't do it, but I don't think Ruta have the confidence right now. I think Enciso play with a lot less fear and him just kind of go for it. And I think them kind of need that right now. So I would personally play Enciso from the start and play Enciso from the start instead of Ruta. That's what I would probably do. Welbeck up front, Mitoma left side. That's what I would probably do going into this game, to be honest with you. Yeah, that's what I would be doing in this one. Yes, people. But that's Brighton. Now let's take a look at Spurs. So Spurs, of course, we talked about this game already slightly. They beat United 3-0 last week. This was their starting lineup. Pretty much can close your eyes and pick the back four and the keeper at this point. So, good for continuity, but I still feel like maybe it's part of the system why I don't trust this back four so much, because they do expose them a lot. But individually, they are good players. I mean, the dog is a good player. Romero is a good player. Pedro Porro is a good player. Van de Ven is a good player. But maybe the collective and the style doesn't really lend itself to the most consistency in their performances at defense. Have seen lately where Postecoglou has just forgotten midfield and just say, listen, I'm playing two creative players. I don't care. I will have one that can tackle a little bit as well. So that's, really and truly, they're just going all out attacking midfield right now. Werner has been getting the starts, but boy, I don't know how him keep getting starts. I think Solanke and Johnson pretty much pick themselves right now. Johnson finding a decent form. We've seen Bergval play out there. People have been calling, Tottenham fans and those who follow Tottenham have been calling for Mikey Moore to just get the bus because he's one for the future that is very, very talented. So let's see. I think right now he's probably wishing he had maybe one more wide forward option. Without Son being available, it's the pickings are really slim. So yeah, they hopefully can get back right after the break, or Werner can find some type of form to make it worth him playing. Because right now I don't see it. Just not able to convert anything. Just being the Werner of old, can't finish nothing. So yeah, this one is a tricky one, people. Really, really tricky one. And the reason why I say that, because Brighton started out the season and we are saying, okay, this might be that team this year that finished higher than we thought. But they have kind of tapered off, when you look at good result against Arsenal, of course, but then the home draw to Ipswich 0-0, not good. The 2-2 to Forest, at the time, we were saying maybe that's not the best result, but we have to give some credit to Forest because they have been consistently playing decent. So 2-2 is not terrible. And then last week, of course, suicidal defending. That 4-2 could have been 6-7, 8-2 as well. So they really need to get it together on that back line. I think Adam Webster is not the answer if they're going to play that style. Igor is a lot more athletic, not the fastest in the world, but I think Igor is also better on the ball, a little more technical. So, they do tend to put their defenders in some difficult situations playing out. And I just think Igor can handle that a bit better than Adam Webster personally. So I would go with him. But my thing is, Spurs, right? They're another one. Away form is funny, They went to United and killed them, but can we really take that much stock in that? I mean, other than that, they haven't really done well on the road, or away from home. So, oh man, what do you say, Jay? This game of a draw written on it, But Brighton at home. Will Spurs capitulate? Will Spurs go with the all-out attack midfield? God, that's what they did last week. Will they show a bit more respect to Brighton than they did Man U? I don't think so, Big Ange no business with people, I think that might be his detriment. All right, you know what? I keep it 100, you don't know. Desmond 2-2, me say. I'll know me not pick a 2-2 yet. So Desmond 2-2 for that game for me. 2-all, me say. 2-all, me say. And I'm going to say me a genius. Yeah, man, 3.5, 2-2, me say. Easily. Higher line than me too. Yeah, man. Runs in the farm. 2-all as well, say game birds. Must say 2-1 to Brighton. Yeah, I never even want to give them nothing, but Chaddy said 3-2 to the Seagulls. Actually agrees with the 2-all. I don't know, brother. Either we're going to win or we're going to come dead last this week. 3-2 to the Trophy Dodgers. Yeah, man, no trophy not playing for today, so them can do it. Turkish dad, Canadian mom. Wow. Would have been a big baller for Canada get. He's a big baller. Yeah, man, Baliba play well. Asked him if he had faith in Ten Hag, and he said Ten Hag is a good coach, but the management team needs to make sensible decisions. Okay. So not throwing him under the bus. FPL challenge is Asian week. Okay. Western Hemisphere's ballers are just better. LOL, we rule. Brighton 1-0. Wow, you go against my theory of high goal scoring, and Nick did too. Nick said to go under because Vegas have played it over. With Avis there. Avis dropout star. Avis, I'm missing one game, Avis. Send me the one game. Brighton. Yeah, man. Kulu love the red side. We know that long time. Avis said 2-all as well. All right. Respect Avis. Thank you. All right. So everybody that was participating, have everybody won. Must you have a few for drop. So just drop that in the Discord or Insta or wherever. BX gonna 81. He did give me a whole heap of them, but a whole heap of them he never give me. And I think the only person when I say I put in and I haven't been documenting them is Game Birds. So Game Birds, may I write down your name, and what you do when the show finish, just drop one big comment and put the whole of the game them. Because I know they drop some in the live chat, but they weren't really all of them, so I never write it down because I wasn't sure if it was going to stay the whole time. But I say I stay the whole time, so I want to make sure I give you a chance for win. And Fabi Frano and BX gonna 81. I need to send me on the list because on the incomplete, I must give L's for all them games. So you're in pole position for the donkey of the week as it stands because I don't have many results for you on the paper. All right. But yeah, people, we have forwarded to the end of the show. Before we lock off the camera, what I want to do is pull up the. I'm not showing them my FPL team. Sorry, people, I can't get no ideas off of my team. But I will ask you guys some questions about my draft teams. And maybe I shouldn't, because one of my opposition is in the chat right now. You know what, people? I will I will not do that right now, actually. I will not do that right now because we don't need the people them for know what go on in my league them. I will tell you the results, people. My team pick already still, but me like ask you a question about a potential benching that I have going on, and I don't know if I should bench a player or start a next player or what. But you know what? I'm gonna stick to what I've been doing and not get nobody not influence me, brother. Nobody. So I'm gonna stick to my guns, people. I'm not gonna do that. So everybody in the building. I say about 11, 12 of you guys in the building right now still. So respect to everybody that's stuck around. This is I'm in 2 draft leagues right now, but I think once this season is over, I'm gonna definitely start a Jason Gooner TV family, both a FPL league and obviously the draft league can't be so big. So what I'll probably do is I'll give first choice to those who participate in the predictions each week and stuff, and we'll try to build our next league that way because man, I really enjoy the draft league. I think I like it even more than the other one, to be honest, because it involves a bit more strategy to me because not really strategy because there is strategy in the other one too, but I like that not every team is the same. So not every team is the same in FPL, but once a player get good form, you see everybody run and grab the player. So if you have that player in draft league and you have them and they're on good form, even if they're on bad form, I think that to me is the more fun part. Like if you drop a player who you think has potential to do great things, then 2 weeks later them score a hat-trick and you don't have him again, you're high up in the league, so you don't have first priority to get him off of waivers. So there's a lot of things that I enjoy about the draft a bit more than the FPL, because it's a bit more crucial, the moves you make, in terms of, like, you know, if you lose a player, you lose a player. Somebody else can pick him up if he's good, you know? And for someone like me who is sitting at the top of the table, when it comes to making changes to your team, the way how they rank what players you get out of the waivers process is, if you're first in the league, you get the last pick for waivers. So yeah, it requires some skill, especially if you're in a league where everybody take it serious and I pay attention and I try win. It's not the easiest thing to win. So yeah, I enjoy it a lot, and I definitely recommend, if you have the time to do it, you know what I mean, look into the draft league if you don't play it already, because yeah, I wouldn't say converted people, but I have like people who were dead against it when I first brought it up. They played it for a season and they have never stopped playing it. So yeah, man, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, that is true. It's a feature that is a Western Hemisphere thing. That is true, because NHL, NFL, NBA, fantasy is more like that. You know, you draft players and you won't have the player. You know, everybody can't have the same players in the league. So yeah. Okay, so you actually have it set up head to head. Yeah, we play regular league setting, no head to head, because the head to head is foolishness to me, to be honest, because you can score 1,000,000 points and you just play the other guy in the league that score 1,000,000 points. Then that week you don't get no points for that. I don't think that is realistic at all. But I know that's more like Western Hemisphere, because when you play a fantasy game, you play when you play a fantasy game, you play each person like you play the opponent each week. So I think in the fantasy draft game, that's not the best way to play, and it don't really show who is the best team. It just show who had the best matchups every week, to be honest. So yeah, we changed from that. We did that 1 year and it was horrible, like we thought. So we just say, you know what? We're just gonna do the points all the way through. Yeah, man, we do the head-to-head 1 year, man. We're not like that. Why for head-to-head? Anyway, big up on yourself, people. We do it time. We put in work. Enjoyed bringing you the preview show this week, as I always do. It's not hard to talk about football, people, so it's not work. This is just fun. Seen? So JGTV out again, up and gunning. We're gonna get some sleep, people. Bright and early, man's have to wake up and drive precious cargo, go somewhere, you know, and go watch some football with my daughter. So I'll get some rest. Big up to everybody in the building that passed through. Big up to all those who stayed. Big up to all those who smashed the like button. Big up to all those who share. Big up to anybody who for the first time saw the video and subscribe to the channel. We never even check how much numbers we do, but we're not really business people. As I say, we're just grateful and thankful that anybody decide to look at our content, because a lot of people out there discuss football around the world. And yeah, man, if I can keep your attention with the minimal graphics, I don't have no graphics, I don't have nothing, I just have a nice machine to use, and I have my football knowledge, and I have a piece of paper and a pen, and I have my personality, and that come across. So if one can sit down and listen me for them this long, then maybe we are do something right on the channel. Zine, people. So big up on yourself. Thanks again for supporting. And you don't know, tomorrow, at some point, look out for just turn on the bell notification, because I don't know, it's Reggae Boys window as well, kind of splice into the last weekend. And we had the squad drop today, so you don't know, we're going to have the squad drop and press conference review show. We're going to listen to some things that we heard in the conference, discuss, talk about the squad players, the squad list, talk about what they've been doing leading up into this window, so that we can kind of start to formulate what we think the coach will start to do in terms of the players that he picked. And of course, leading into the game, we'll have the content surrounding everything. We'll do the tactical corner we always do before the game, try to look at some Nicaragua games and try to scout for them and try to tell you about the danger zones and dangerous players we need to look out for. So you don't know, Jason Gooner will be putting in a lot of work next week as far as the YouTube is concerned, because it is Reggae Boys Match Week. People say you don't know, that's a huge part of the channel. So we're going to give that all the time it deserves. All right, people, but for tonight and Sunday night, you don't know it's EPL. So this was the preview show. Look out Sunday for the EPL review show where we give you the game analysis, talk about all the talking points of the games, all the decisions. Hopefully there are none this week we have to cuss about, but I doubt that's going to happen. Yeah, Sunday night we'll have the review show. We'll reveal the picks, the winners, the donkey, all those good things. And yeah, man, big up on yourself, people, and thanks again for the support. Yes, go and support my Sports World, people. Also have a channel, brings you live match watch-alongs. It looks like 3 p.m. UK kickoffs, goal rush, Arsenal, the feature match, of course. So yeah, if you want a way to just tune into something tomorrow while I watch the game, them. If you like the watch along settings and watching games that way, just having it on while you watch the game, definitely check out my Sports World. You might put in the work over there. So big up yourself, Mas. Thanks for tuning in, and everybody else that tuned in. Thanks again. Big up to the champion last week, Chad. Don't know, becoming a staple in the chat. So really, really appreciate the love. Chaddy, big up yourself and all the best to the fam. All right, boss. One Gunners. In the tomorrow's people, you'll see me. Big up yourselves. Up and gunning. No let down tomorrow on my side. Big up. Thanks again for